Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to the queens in the room for a minute. You ever wonder how to make a man not just like you, not just love you, but crave your presence like he can't go a day without it? Like your air, water, like you're his personal addiction? Knowing your worth is not just about confidence, it's about conviction. It's that deep-rooted belief that you are valuable, desirable, and deserving of respect, effort, and love. A woman who knows her worth doesn't wait for a man to validate her. She doesn't shrink herself to fit in. She doesn't beg to be chosen. She stands tall, walks in the room like she belongs there, and carries herself with an energy that says, I am the prize. That kind of self-assurance changes the whole dynamic. When you know your value, you don't chase, you attract. And more importantly, you attract better. See, when you don't recognize your worth, you'll accept half or late texts, broken promises, and love with conditions. You find yourself making excuses for someone who's not showing up fully for you. But a woman who knows what she brings to the table doesn't waste time explaining her value. She lets her energy speak for itself. She doesn't have to prove anything. She is the proof. And here's the secret. Men can feel that. A man can sense when a woman holds herself to a higher standard, and it makes him step up or step back. But either way, it draws a clear line. That line, that's your power. Knowing your worth also means not settling for crumbs when you deserve the whole cake. It means understanding that love is not about tolerating someone's potential. It's about aligning with someone's effort and character right now. You can't fix a man who doesn't want to be fixed. And you can't convince someone to see your value when they're not even looking for substance. But when you know who you are, you stop auditioning for roles in people's lives. You take up space unapologetically. You say no when something doesn't feel right. And you don't second guess yourself just to keep someone comfortable. You also move differently when you know your worth. You dress for yourself. You speak with purpose. You don't compare yourself to the next woman because you're too focused on staying in your own lane. And in that lane, your presence becomes magnetic. It's not about looks, curves, or clothes. It's about the vibe that I don't need you, but I'd love to share this with you kind of energy. That's what makes a man crave you. That's what makes him stay up wondering how you move so gracefully, how you smile without needing anyone's approval, how you can walk away without looking back if you're not being treated right. And let's be real, when a man sees a woman who respects herself deeply, who doesn't flinch at the thought of being alone because she enjoys her own company, it's powerful. It's unforgettable because most people are out here trying to be chosen. But a woman who knows her worth, she chooses herself first, every time. And that's what makes her addictive. There's something powerful about a woman who doesn't reveal her entire story on the first page. A little mystery isn't about playing games, it's about pacing. It's about letting someone earn access to the deeper parts of you instead of handing everything over without a second thought. In today's world where oversharing is common, where people post every detail of their lives online, mystery has become rare. And that's exactly why it's so magnetic. When you don't rush to expose every thought, every feeling, and every plan, you create a sense of curiosity. And curiosity is the root of craving. A man can't crave what he already feels like he has full access to. If he knows every move you'll make, every emotion you'll feel, and every story you'll tell, where's the intrigue? Where's the chase? Where's the opportunity for him to actually pursue you and uncover who you are in layers? Mystery keeps him engaged. It makes him lean in. It makes him think about you after you leave. It gives him space to wonder, to imagine, to want more. That's a difference between someone who passes through a man's life and someone who lingers in his mind long after she's gone. It's not about being cold or distant. It's about being intentional. You don't need to play hard to get. You just need to be real enough to know that not everyone deserves full access to you right away. You can be kind, warm, and engaging without putting your whole soul on the table in the first 5 minutes. Let conversations unfold over time. Let your silence speak sometimes. Let him ask questions. Let him wonder about the things you don't say. That's how he learns to value your words, because they're not handed out carelessly. Mystery also works in the way you carry yourself. It's in your smile that doesn't give everything away. It's in the way you dress with elegance and confidence, showing just enough to draw attention, but never so much that you've given it all away. It's in your energy, knowing when to lean in and when to pull back. It's in understanding that you are the experience, and every encounter with you should feel like a new chapter, not the whole book. The more you hold on to your power, the more a man will feel that he's discovering something rare. And the truth is, men love the feeling of discovery. They want to feel like they're earning access to something that isn't given to just anyone. When you keep a little to yourself, not out of fear, but out of self-respect, you remind him that you are not to be taken lightly. You're not an open door to be walked through at will. You're a locked room with golden light inside. And if he wants to get in, he has to come correct. And that's how you keep him coming back. There's nothing more attractive than a woman who's got things going on in her life. A woman with purpose, drive, and focus is a woman who doesn't wait around for someone to fill her time or give her direction. She wakes up with goals. She moves through her day with intention. She's not just waiting for a call or a text. She's too busy building her vision, handling her business, and becoming the woman she's destined to be. That kind of energy is undeniable, and it sends a clear message to any man paying attention. You're not sitting around hoping to be chosen. You're already busy choosing yourself. When a man sees that you're not living in pause mode, that you're not putting your dreams or your passions on hold for a relationship, it changes how he sees you. He realizes you're not desperate. You're not dependent. You're not hoping he'll come along and give your life meaning. You already have meaning. You already have a purpose. And when your schedule is filled with growth, creativity, self-care, and elevation, he knows he has to come correct just to fit into the life you're building. It's powerful. Too often, women lose themselves in the early stages of love. They shift their schedules, their energy, and even their identity just to be more available. But availability doesn't always equal value. If he can call you at any time and you drop everything to entertain him, you're teaching him that your world revolves around his. And once he feels like he's the center of your universe, the chase is over. The mystery is gone. And the craving, that fades too. But when you have things to do, purpose also builds confidence. It gives you something to wake up for, something to look forward to, something that's yours and only yours. And that confidence shows up in every interaction when you talk about your passions, your goals, your grind. It adds layers to your personality. It creates substance. A man can find beauty anywhere, but when beauty is paired with ambition, with passion, with vision, that's a whole different level. That's when you start being a passing interest and start becoming unforgettable. Let him see you glowing from your own light. Let him see that you're not just living, you're evolving. When he calls and you're at the gym, taking a class, running your business, working on your craft, or simply spending intentional time with yourself, he learns that your time is valuable. And when he finally does get a piece of that time, it feels like a privilege, not a guarantee. That's how craving starts. Not by always being around, but by being missed. And you can't be missed if you're always available. So fill your life with purpose and let him chase the honor of being a part of it. There's a misconception that in order to keep a man's attention, you have to chase him, to always be present and available, to constantly work hard to show him your worth. But let me tell you something. Chasing doesn't create attraction. It creates exhaustion. When you're constantly chasing, you send the message that you're not secure in your position, that you're dependent on his validation, and that you need him to feel whole. But a woman who understands her worth doesn't chase, she attracts. She doesn't need to run after someone to prove that she's worthy of their love. Instead, she focuses on becoming the best version of herself and allows the man to recognize that value for himself. What's truly magnetic is not your neediness, but your calm. When you can be the source of peace in someone's chaotic life, when you can offer him a sense of stability and grounding, you become an anchor, not a weight. The pressure of a relationship should never feel like a burden. It should feel like a partnership, a place where both individuals can breathe easy, grow together, and support one another. If your presence in his life only adds to his stress, he'll naturally pull away. But when you can be his peace, when he feels lighter, calmer, and more centered with you by his side, that's when he'll start craving your presence. A man will always crave peace over drama. He will seek comfort over chaos. Think about it. How many times have you felt the most drawn to someone when they don't need anything from you? When they're not trying to prove their worth, when they're simply content and secure in who they are. That's the energy that attracts. It's the energy that says, I'm good, and I'm not chasing anyone for validation. It's knowing that your happiness isn't dependent on someone else. It's about creating a life that you love, one that's fulfilling and full of purpose. And when a man sees you as a woman who already has her life in order, who already brings peace and joy to her own world, in relationships, men often feel the pressure to lead and protect. They already have their own stresses, whether it's work, personal goals, or life challenges. What he needs from a woman is someone who doesn't add to that. Instead, he needs someone who makes him feel good about himself, someone who builds him up rather than tearing him down. Be his supporter. Be his cheerleader. Be the person who encourages him to be better, but without demanding it from him or putting unrealistic expectations on him. A relationship should lift both people up, not weigh them down. When you can show a man that you're a source of strength without being overbearing, when you offer love without strings attached, when you support him without the pressure of needing anything in return, you create a dynamic that he'll crave. You become the peaceful, calming force he looks for after a long day. You stop being an obligation, and instead you become a refuge. And a man who has tasted that kind of peace will never want to let it go. He'll crave it. He'll seek it. Confidence is the foundation of everything. Without it, you're merely going through the motions, hoping that others will see your worth. But when you walk into a room with your head held high, shoulders back, and a calm assurance in your every step, you become undeniable. Confidence doesn't mean being perfect or never having doubts. It's not about having the loudest voice or the most attention. It's about owning who you are. Flaws, strengths, quirks, and all. It's about knowing that you are enough just as you are. That kind of self-assurance is magnetic. It makes a person stand out in the crowd without saying a word because they carry an energy that says, I know my worth and I don't need anyone else to define it for me. When you're confident, you don't need validation from anyone. You don't need constant reassurance or affirmation to feel secure in yourself. A confident woman isn't afraid to be alone because she knows that solitude is an opportunity for growth and self-love, not a sign of failure. She understands that her worth isn't dependent on the approval of others, especially not from a man. And when a man sees that level of self-assurance, he can't help but be drawn to it. It's a silent yet powerful message that says, if you want me, you better come correct, because I'm already good on my own. That confidence is like a magnet. It pulls people in, not out of insecurity, but out of respect. Confidence also comes from knowing what you bring to the table. It's about understanding your strengths and embracing your individuality. When you know what makes you unique and valuable, it becomes easy to stand in your own power. Confidence doesn't need to prove anything. It simply exists. It doesn't seek to dominate others. It seeks to empower oneself. A confident woman doesn't feel threatened by the success or beauty of others because she knows there is more than enough room for everyone to shine. She doesn't compare herself to anyone. She understands that her journey is her own and that she is perfectly equipped to walk it. Moreover, confidence radiates in your actions. It's the way you speak with conviction, the way you carry yourself, the way you make decisions without hesitation. A confident woman doesn't second-guess herself at every turn. She trusts her instincts and takes ownership of her choices. She doesn't apologize for taking up space or for being bold. And when a man sees a woman who makes decisions with authority, who knows what she wants and isn't afraid to go after it, he can't help but respect her. That's when the shift happens. He goes from casually interested to deeply intrigued. Because confidence is not something you can fake. It's something you cultivate from within. And once you have it, no one can take it away from you. A confident woman also understands the power of boundaries. She knows when to say no, when to protect her energy, and when to walk away from situations that no longer serve her. Boundaries are the ultimate demonstration of self-respect, and they show others how to treat you. A man who sees that you respect yourself will naturally be drawn to you because he will understand that he must also respect you. Confidence is your silent armor. It keeps you strong in the face of challenges and temptation. And when you're confident, you never feel desperate for validation. You know that at the end of the day, the most important approval you need is your own. There's a lot to be said for matching someone's energy, but there's an even greater power in knowing when to elevate it. When you step into a relationship, you're naturally going to resonate with the energy of the other person. You might find yourselves vibing on the same frequency, sharing similar passions, or sinking in ways that make you feel connected. But while it's important to meet someone halfway and align with their rhythm, never forget that your own energy is unique and it should not be dimmed to meet someone else's level. If you want a man to crave your presence, you have to show him that you're capable of matching his energy when it's right, but also lifting it higher when it's time. The magic happens when you don't just mirror him, you elevate the dynamic. Men are attracted to women who push them to be better, who challenge them in the right ways, and who inspire them to reach higher than they thought possible. If you're constantly meeting a man's energy with equal effort, but never elevating it beyond what he's giving, you're limiting the potential of what you both can create. Relationships thrive on growth, mutual respect, and shared aspirations, not on stagnant patterns. If you're always waiting for him to make the first move, to match your vibe, or to lead the way, it's going to feel like a one-sided connection. You have to raise the bar, even if it means taking the lead sometimes. It's about being the force that inspires him to go further, to take risks, and to be the best version of himself. It's about being that quiet catalyst of growth and positivity. You elevate his energy by encouraging him, by celebrating his wins, by being a constant reminder of what he's capable of achieving. You don't need to settle for less than what you deserve. And you don't need to shrink your dreams or ambitions to make him feel more comfortable. The right man will rise to meet you where you are, and if he doesn't, then you'll know that your level of energy and your potential is too precious to be dimmed. Think about how inspiring it is when you encounter someone who exudes energy, ambition, and enthusiasm about life. That person doesn't simply match the status quo, they add something to it. And that's how you want to show up in a man's life. Bring something he didn't even know he needed. Your sparkle, your drive, your belief in his potential, your passion. When you elevate his energy, you create an atmosphere where both of you can thrive, where he feels supported and challenged at the same time. It becomes a beautiful dance where both partners are pushing one another toward greatness. But don't mistake this for overextending yourself or becoming something you're not. It's about encouraging growth, not sacrificing your identity or sense of self to accommodate someone else. A man will appreciate a woman who stands firmly in her power, someone who makes him want to be better without asking him to be perfect. And the key here is that you should never settle for less. Don't shrink your energy or your essence to fit into a situation or relationship that's not serving you. You deserve someone who meets you at your level and matches your energy.